Hey guys, it's Matt. You won't believe this. I mean, this is just what more evidence do we need to show people? I got very angry earlier today doing some research. I found out that Valley Forge Park National Park is still closed. I mean, the closing of parks is the sinister side, but that's we're gonna have fun with this. We're gonna have fun with this, especially the people that have several beers in them listening to this. We're gonna have goofy fun with this. So get this. These overflow hospitals, I'm not going to say everything as it's presented here. I want this video to load, so I might be a bit cryptic. Isn't that wonderful? We have to do that in the land of the free. But these are overflow hospitals. You'll just to give you a sense. Oh, built because there's going to be a flood. Here they come. They saw no one. These places basically saw no one. So see if this is ironic. The crisis, and then in the title, it's a crisis, right? So it's a crisis, but there's no patients. Okay. And I'm so how sick are you of seeing this stupid ass thing? It's like a Pac-Man pinata. I don't know what it is, but somebody should take a baseball bat to it, open it up. If I see this damn thing, okay, I don't want to bring that anger back for earlier today. Give me a break. Good reporting, Joel. Joel Rose. Are you related to Geordie Rose? Look at this clown show. It says this is the field hospital, McCormick Place in Chicago, taken April 10th. Okay? It's empty. And below it shows how many people or patients these places saw, mostly zero. You won't believe this. How much money was spent on each one. What's this guy doing coming out from behind the curtain? What's he doing in there? There's nobody here. What's he went in there for a little private time? Buddy, do that at home, man. You're on the job. That's sick, man. He's coming out with a magazine. These hospitals were overrun by patients in other parts of the world. They were overrun. Really? Prove it. Prove it. China ended up with 4,000 deaths. That's a joke. China has like 4,000 deaths a day from people slipping on noodles. It's a joke. They mobilized private contractors who could scam the American taxpayer out of even more money. The endeavor to build these overflow hospitals cost more than, see, it says more than 660 million. So the real number is $666 million, according to NPR. Oh my goodness. $660 million, folks. Let's come back to that number in just a few minutes. Nearly 4 months in, most haven't seen it a damn patient. Not even a drunk has stumbled in. 4 months in, sitting around crickets. Oh my goodness, look at this. The name, the location, the contractor that scammed the money, the total cost, the maximum number of beds, total patients. Let's go to this side first, just so you understand where we're going with this video. For as long as it remains taken down in the land of the free. Zero patients. Zero. 37. Yeah, 37 drunks stumbled in. Zero. Zero. Not yet complete. Oh, isn't that convenient? We'll get back to that. Zero. 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 It's like Blutarski in Animal House's grade point average. Bluto's grade point average. 0.0, Mr. Blutarski. And Daniel Simpson Day has no grade point average. See, not yet complete. All classes incomplete. 0, 0, not complete. 6 in Michigan at the Suburban Collection Showplace. They say they have 6 for this overflow facility. But it's 6 dogs. They ran a dog show here. Bullcrap. 6 patients in this. The Suburban Collection Showplace. Does that sound like a medical center you want to go to, or does that sound like a place that typically runs dog and cat shows? Of course, it sounds like a dog and cat show or a gun show or whatever. But they flip-flop their roles. It was probably a dog show. Everybody got the message that we're not having the dog show because of this crisis. But 6 people, 6 little old ladies showed up with their dog. And they said, should we do it? Can we count these? as patients? Well, some of these dogs look rather human. Let's count them. That's what happened. That's more likely than they got 6 patients in this giant overflow. They should have overflowed the Superdome and then backed up the toilets again. The Javits Center in New York, 1,000 people. Oh, sure, yeah, yeah. That's how pathogens work. They just selectively go into some areas, and then they don't like other areas. Hong Kong still has 4 deaths. The pathogen said, I don't like Hong Kong. I don't want to go in there. The pathogen has a sentient consciousness. It says, I don't want to go into Hong Kong. This place, I don't know. I don't like the fare there. The food, it's all noodles. I don't like it. So let's hit New York. Okay, let's do it. It has a conscious because the world would be being hit equally with international air travel and global trade. This isn't possible. East Orange General Hospital. Okay, I thought it was the one in the same one down in Florida. You know what that event was. East Orange, New Jersey. Oh, another not yet complete, like the Death Star. Not yet complete. 39 in the TCF Center in Detroit. Bullcrap. If it was Detroit, 39 in the Overflow Center. No, no. 39 not drunks, but ODs, overdoses. 39 people came in from overdosing. That's not 30. Detroit has 39 people overdosing per hour. So 39 coming in total over a 6 or 8 week period for overdosing this is much more likely. All right. So let's do this. Let's look at the total cost. Okay, here's the McCormick Place. We'll start because this said this is the McCormick Place here. So this convention center facility already existed. Big old convention center, like where they put the auto show and all that stuff. Everybody's been to these places. They're massive. So it was already there, the building, the old parquet floor is there. So what'd they do? They just came up and set up these cheap ass, metal structures. The kind of like what would hold your shower curtain up. You ever see a tension rod or a torsion rod for a shower curtain? That's what this is, with just some cloth material and a little curtain. A curtain made in China for $1 probably. All right, so let's add all of this. What you're seeing here, I don't know, should cost $500 or $600. I'd do it. I'll do it for $800 if they asked me to do it. Let's see. Let's go down here. McCormick Place was erected by the Metropolitan Pier and Exposition Authority for $65 million. What? Now, I know the cost of setup at exhibition centers is getting high, and many cities mandate union, but $65 million for this? What? This guy's coming out. $65 million, son. You take your magazine home. You don't do it on taxpayer time. $65 million. See, guys, somebody's going, well, the whole structure must have been erected like China erected hospitals. No, it was there. So it was probably there in the 50s. Everything was there. They just did this for 65. I should have bid against the exhibition place. I would have underbid them and pay me the say 60 million. I'll erect this for $1 million with get a bunch of people off the street, just help me set this shit up, and I'd keep the other 59 million for myself. Are you kidding? 155 million, the Turner Construction Company in Stony Brook, New York. Almost $200 million. Zero. AECOM, that's how you AECOM is a massive defense contractor. 118 million for Old Westbury, New York. Zero. See, okay, what was it, the Javits Center? 1,000 people came in, so they say. All right, New York City, 1,000, but others in New York, zero. Isn't it incredible how the pathogen just likes certain areas and doesn't like others? It's just unable to spread anywhere, considering for weeks and weeks there was no issue with driving anywhere, no issues with trains, subways, air travel. It's so selective. It's such a advanced and very, that's why they call it novel, because it actually has a sentient consciousness. It doesn't like going into certain places. It's very avant-garde, whatever that means. It's bourgeois. the novelty, whatever the hell that is. I never could understand what the bourgeois is, the bourgeois. So let's look at the article. Experts said how ill-prepared the U.S. was. They praised the Army Corps for wasting almost $1 billion of taxpayer money. It's so painful because what it's showing is the plans we have in place, they don't work. Well, why not? There was no patients. How do you even know if they work or not? What does that even mean? None of it was tested to capacity. Nation's governor, um, they're relieved the facilities didn't get more use. Well, the nation's governor said that. Well, what are they going to say? They really wish there would have been the sick and dead overflowing out of these facilities. What the hell are they going to say? Who wrote this? Joel Rose? He's a kind of retard. They predicted a catastrophic shortage. Of course they did. All right, blah, blah, blah. All those field hospitals and beds sit empty today. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And that's a very, very good thing. It's like Bagger Vance. That's a good thing. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat. Why do they have to? Why is that even? Why is that DeSantis, a Republican, said a Democrat? Why is that even relevant? Can't you just take a quote from a real human being? Why do you have to label that? It's all part of the game. These 1,000 bed alternative care sites are not necessary. They're not filled. Thank God. Thank God. Senior military leaders also said the effort was a success. Blah, 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 blah. He was asked, the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs, he was asked by some genius at a news conference if it bothered him to see the field hospitals go unused. That's a brilliant question. Sir, does it bother you that the dead and sick weren't overflowing out of the hospitals and all that money was wasted? Wouldn't it be better if we're going to spend taxpayer money to have the dead and sick just coming out the doors and the windows? For gosh sakes, no, Hyten said. You could see why somebody gets to the position of power that they get to with intellect like this. It gives you the chills reading something like this. If you see beds full, that means the local capacity of the local hospitals to handle this has been overwhelmed. And now we're into an emergency situation. I tell you what, this is the assistant or the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs. It gives you chills knowing people of such intellect are at positions of such power. The Army Corps started building more than 30 field hospitals, retrofitting convention centers. Well, did the Army Corps build them, or did those contractors we just saw the list of build them? That's just completely wrong, or they didn't build squat. They just showed you. They showed you who built them. There's no Army Corps listed here. Is that what the Army Corps is actually just? It's just actually there is nobody there. It's one guy in a cubicle. He just outsources. They still for tradition's sake call it the Army Corps of Engineers. They didn't build squat. Squat, Utah. Agent Utah is a place right over there that sells meatball sandwiches. Angelo, it's 10:30. Utah, get me two. Retrofitting. I tell our guys, Lieutenant General Todd Samsonite, commander of the Army Corps of Engineers. I tell our guys, you have 3 weeks, said Lieutenant General Todd. What does that mean? These are the companies that build it. You have 3 weeks to outsource to government contractors like AECOM that will fleece the taxpayer. 3 weeks? I could do that in 3 minutes. Oh boy. At Chicago's McCormick Place, workers scrambled in April to transform the convention center into a massive temporary hospital, 3,000 beds. This was an empty convention hall. Monumental, round-the-clock dedication is what got this done before we needed it. Preparing for saving lives in the event that things become as bad as some have predicted. Monumental round-the-clock dedication. Okay? I remind you, this is what he's talking about. It doesn't take monumental round-the-clock dedication to erect these things. They probably can be erected by Rain Man and Forrest Gump and Cuba Gooding Jr. as Rain Man and every strange character that ever appeared in a movie, they could have wrecked these things themselves. On around the clock dedication, snap this in, pull the curtain down, that's one. Snap this in. I could do this myself in an afternoon. Round the clock dedic. See, are people that stupid where they see this as McCormick and then they just read this and they're like, "Oh, they worked so hard. It was around the clock dedication." What? All right, let's continue. Where are we? Around the clock dedications here. Just as construction got underway, states were issuing stay at home and the spread began to slow. Oh, I see. So they erected these because they didn't think they didn't know there was going to be this stay at home order. So they expected just all this death and illness. I see. Why didn't I know? I should have figured that. Work on the hospitals continued. Some projects were scaled back. Well, why? Why were they scaled back? You wouldn't know, supposedly, till now what this thing was. I mean, the same story is playing out all across the country. In fact, most Army Corps field hospitals haven't seen a single poor devil. No kidding. In many parts of the U.S., hospitals are able to expand their capacity, keep up with the surge of expand their capacity. They're half empty. These hospitals are laying people off. Most around the country are mostly empty compared to what they would be 5 or 6 months ago. 20 to 30% more empty. But in New York, of course, the staging ground of everything, hospitals were overwhelmed. Of course, sure. Any pictures of inside? Did Zabruta get any pictures? Go into those hospitals. I'm here to take pictures. Where's this overwhelmed? We don't see. Nobody saw anything. There's no overwhelmed anything. The mantra was, don't come to the hospital, don't go to the doctor, stay home till your lips turn blue. What? Said Gershon of NYU's School of Global Public Health, quote, well, we now know that was a crazy set of advice. That was the advice given in New York. I kind of missed that. Um, Gershon, NYU School of Global Public Health. Really, was that the mantra, Gershon? Don't come into the hospital. Don't go to the doctor. Stay home. Stay home till your lips turn blue. This person's in a position of authority where people like Matt can't even get a job that pays $5 an hour. Gerson said she worries a lot of people follow the advice, and some people died because of it. I doubt they said stay home till your lips turn blue, including a cousin of hers. Yeah, her cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles was affected. That's why you know it was real. Contractors built 2 field hospitals on Long Island. In Long Island, building 2 field hospitals, Long Island, on the campuses of the State University of New York. New York at Stony Brook and SUNY Old Westbury. At a total cost of more than $270 million. Well, I hope they look better than this. I hope they look better than that for $270 million. For $270 million, they should have erected the Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton suites. Not quite, but almost. I mean, they should have real walls for $270 million in those 2 locations in New York. They should have real walls. They should have bidets. They should have 80-inch televisions. They should have, just, I don't know. What else would you put in for you could get a lot done with $270 million. All right. Even in New York City, where Army Corps Field Hospital did treat, it never reached full capacity, even where it was supposedly the worst. It never reached full capacity. There are a lot of losers in it and not a lot of winners, said Dario Gonzalez, an emergency doctor with New York Fire. Blah, blah, blah. It was very disappointing, Gonzalez said. Everybody was here ready to work, ready to get patients in. What? Go repeat. That doesn't make sense. There are a lot of losers in it and not a lot of winners, said Dario, an emergency doctor in New York City Fire, who helped lead the medical response. He's talking about that Jarvis Center in New York. It was very disappointing. He said everybody was here ready to work, ready to get patients in. So it was disappointing that this is like 1984 doublespeak, this article, guys. It's very disappointing here that they didn't get the patients in because they wanted the endless overflow of death and disease. They wanted the disease just hanging out the walls and the window and doors and the windows. But see, this is why it's 1984. In the same article, they talk about the assistant vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs saying something like, you remember, I don't know where it is, says something like, of course we didn't want these beds to be used. I mean, and I made a joke as to, well, yeah, what would anybody say? Well, this guy wanted the beds to be used. It was very disappointing. We were all here ready to work, and the death and the illness never came, and we were kind of pissed. We wanted to see the death and the illness because we were ready to work. What? The world it's a bizarre world, guys. Reality is breaking down on many fronts. It really is. Um, the plan was for Javits Center to take patients, blah blah blah. They sent a few patients to Javits, and then blah, yeah. During the 3 weeks it was open, the Javits Field Hospital treated about 1,100 patients. What? 3 weeks it was open. What? So this is the one area of all of this nothing, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, zika, 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 zika. The one area, 1,000 patients, Javits, 1,000. All right. So in the 3 weeks, it was the one thing being used, they shut down after 3 weeks. What? Guys, I can't. Whatever. Enough's enough. You send this to somebody, they'll be able to explain it all away. They'll rationalize every bit of it. They'll rationalize where this guy's coming out of this little empty room in a magazine in the middle of his workday. They'll rationalize why it costs like $800 billion to set up these pieces of shit. A metal erector set from China with some cloth, $800 million or whatever. They'll rationalize every bit of it. Oh, the government was just trying to do it, but they're not efficient, Matt. The government's not efficient, and there's a lot of red tape, and we know there's a lot of ways, but we had to do it for people's health. They'll explain it all the way without zeros, folks. 0, 0, 0, 37 drunk, 0, 0, not yet complete, not yet complete. Dog ate my homework. Let's look at this. Not yet complete. The Walter Washington Convention Center, D.C. What does that mean, not yet complete? Well, the number of patients. They don't know. They don't know. Well, it's most likely 0. Well, what do you mean they don't know? Let's say if this is Walter Washington or whatever in D.C., they have to report the numbers into whoever's calculating the numbers as to how many patients were in the overflow centers. So I'll do it. If that's you want to pay me $20 an hour, I'll stick my head in this place and go, how many of you poor devils are in here? I'm here. That's 1. Bueller. I'm over here. 2. Don't forget me. I was sleeping. You woke my ass up. 3. Yeah, that's what I thought we had. 3. See, I got to report. They pay me $20 an hour to report the numbers in, and so okay, I just got to make a phone call to whoever doing this compiling. It's really sophisticated. But see, here's not yet complete. Walter Washington. They don't know. See, I guess it's so empty. You forget where you put people. This guy's looking. He's looking for people. We got 2 or 3 poor devils in here somewhere. They asked for the numbers. How many people we got? Should I just shout? Who's here? No, don't shout. Just go curtain by curtain and see who's here. What do you mean not complete? Not yet complete. Commercial Appear Building in Memphis, Tennessee. Not yet complete. They don't know who's there. Well, how are they going to be treated? Not yet complete. It's a 5-minute process of how many people do you have and calling in the number. It's not that sophisticated. They tell us there's a whole spy satellite grid up there. That's what they tell us. A whole spy satellite grid, a defense network. But in these places that are mostly empty, they can't call in the number. Well, there's just a big debate. Well, I don't know. We can't find him. It's so big. There's 4 people here, but Susie said there's 5. Well, should we call in 4 or 5? I don't know if we get it wrong or jobs are on the line. Well, I don't know. Say we're not done yet. We're trying to figure out how many people are here, and then they won't know if it's 1,000, 5,000, 0. Just say it's not complete. Say we can't. We're working on it. Tell them we're working on it. Because if we call in 4 and it's really 5, it's going to be your ass, Susie. Whatever. Chances in let me load this video probably 0.